Okay, section two. Let's talk a little bit about strategies for IFS implementation. So, what does that look like? So, really, Shamil, I think what I'm interested in learning about is like IFS is we talked about it, has powerful, right? And lots of ERPs are powerful, and IFS is not unique in that regard. So, what have you found is like the best approach? Because you have a project-based manufacturer like aerospace and defense, like a shipyard, or you have all these different moving pieces, right? Maybe multiple sites across countries. What have you found is like the best practice in terms of customers getting up and running, getting value from IFS as quickly as possible?
So it really depends on the customer situation, right? There's no one method, one approach that fits all. So as you know, the standard IFS implementation is phased. Like you start with the initiate phase, you go to the prototype, and then you go to the build, and then you go to implement, and then you go live phase, right? So one of the things that we do at WIA by learning from our customers is basically we run sprint cycles within each phase, 2 to 3 week sprint cycles. So that gives the customer ability to visualize things faster, um, provide better feedback, and also it increases the engagement from the customer that leads to better decisions on the design, right? So that's kind of one of the fundamental things that we try to do in every project, and it has been very successful. And we use all the Scrum related tools like Jira and Scrum boards, and then risk management strategies comes with Scrum along that, and it's been very, very successful and effective. Um, and also another thing that we've seen is when you have large deployments, multi-company, multi-site, or even sometimes the same customer with multiple sites or multiple modules. So we try to come up with a way that, if it's possible, we try to do a phased deployment. That you have an initial go live with certain functionality or certain modules or certain sites, or certain what do you say, integrations, and then we kind of roll it out, the rest of it in a later stage. That gives the customer ability to use the application sooner rather than later, like increase the time to ROI, um, reduce the time to ROI. Sorry. And then there are a couple of other advantages using that. One is like if you are a customer that has limited bandwidth on the internal resources, having a phased approach will definitely help, because then the load on the internal team is a little bit less, and they can kind of get used to the application, and it's a much smoother transition when it comes to the second phase of the go live. And then also helps establish some of the support processes much sooner rather than later. Another thing that we do at WIA is the extended design phase. When I talk about extended design phase, I'm talking about the second phase that we're doing in sprints. So we extend that a little bit more than a typical project. The reason for that is we've found out that having a extended design phase leads to better blueprint that will eventually reduce time for the go live, because it reduces time to implement it. So talking about the extended design phase, we do a couple of things in there that really adds value. One thing is, obviously, we train the super users in depth so that they are more educated on the tool and they can take the maximum advantage of the features that are available in IFS. And the second thing that we do is we always design the blueprint using end-to-end flows, and whenever possible, we kind of integrate plug and play interfaces into the design phase. Like for example, I could think of banking interfaces that are very easily plug and play. I could think of CADTALK, something that you can easily plug and play. So some of these plug and play interfaces really makes it easier for the super users that are involved in the decision making process to make decisions, because they can see the whole flow end to end, not just within IFS, but end to end in terms of their business requirement. So those are some of the things that we strategically take approaches that we take when it comes to the implementation strategies.
I'm going to repeat back to you my understanding of what you said. I think there's a lot of wisdom in there. So what I'm hearing is you take a bit longer to plan than so really to set that plan. It take a little longer in that planning phase to set the blueprint and get it in place, and you focus on smaller bits, right? So that you can rapidly get those going. And you iterate faster so that if I understand it correctly, kind of two fundamentals are right sizing the
Yeah.
scope, the initial scope, to be manageable, and taking a bit more time to plan that so that you save time in the long haul and the sort of long process, over time.
That is right. So um, taking a little bit longer during the prototyping phase and coming up with a more detailed blueprint, that also helps to control the scope and not have scope creep kind of like situations later down the road. So we have a more detailed blueprint. What we do is we focus on the end-to-end workflows in terms of the business, and we use plug and play interfaces. Use
Where you
plug and play
can.
as much as possible. Of course, not all interfaces are plug and play. Some interfaces needs to be custom built, right? So they might not be there, but whenever there's a plug and play interface, we definitely build that into our design phase.